Hi viewers, I am K.S. Vanaja, working as an Assistant Professor of English in Government First Aid College, Konigal. Welcome to my channel, and today in this video I am going to deal with the poem My Last Duchess by Robert Browning. Robert Browning was born on May 7, 1812 in Southampton Street, Camberwell, London. My Last Duchess is a famous dramatic monologue, and it was first published in the volume of poems called Dramatic Lyrics in 1842. It was republished in the Dramatic Romances of 1863. The literary device used in this poem, it is dramatic monologue. These dramatic monologues are dramatic in the sense that they have a theatrical quality, that is, the poem is meant to be read to an audience. To say that the poem is a monologue means that these are the words of one solitary speaker with no dialogue coming from any other characters. Browning's monologue grows out of some crisis or critical situation in the life of the principal figure and embody the reaction of that figure to a particular situation. The speaker is the Duke of Ferrara in this poem, which is an important city of Italy. It was an important cultural center during the Renaissance. This monologue has captured the very spirit of Renaissance Italy, its intrigues, its sensuality, its greed, as well as its cultural and artistic activity. The speaker of the monologue indulges in self-analysis and self-introspection. The present monologue is a remarkable piece of character study not only of the Duke but also of his last Duchess, and the messenger of the neighbouring Count forms the listener and the interlocutor. Now, let us analyze the poem. Robert Browning, he was primarily a poet of man. He loved and studied man, and he was a poet of personality and the soul. Man's thoughts, feelings and desires remain his supreme interest. The arts form another chief interest in Browning's poetry. Even when he directly deals with art, his views are largely bound up with his view of life as a whole. Love is another important theme in Browning's poetry. In his love poems, he is much concerned with the psychology of the passion. His optimism includes the knowledge of evil, pain and misery. Imperfection implies the possibility of perfection. The dramatic monologue, it best suited the poetic genius of Browning. It satisfied both his dramatic bent of mind and his inclination to probe into the mind of man. His drama is therefore of the inner world of the soul. Each poem becomes a soul study or a psychoanalysis. The dramatic monologues are written in an appropriately conversational style. They are the series of remarks, usually confessional, addressed either orally or in an epistolary form to another person or to a group of listeners. My Last Duchess is a great dramatic monologue or a romance. It is brilliant short story in verse. Like Porphyria's Lover, this poem tells a story of how a man killed a woman told in his own words. Browning is as interested in the teller as in the tale. It is impossible to think of My Last Duchess without remembering the character of the speaker. The speaker is the Duke of Ferrara. He is a 16th century nobleman of Italy who is arrogant, proud and jealous. He is represented as speaking his mind aloud to a silent listener. The character's words reveal his personality, mind and his true nature. The dramatic monologue is appropriate for such psychoanalysis. Most of the Browning's dramatic monologues open at a critical juncture of a character's life, but the critical situation is revealed only at the end of the poem. Browning keeps a surprise for the end. It throws a retrospective light on the monologue as a whole. The Duke in the poem is speaking to the messenger of a count whose daughter he intends to marry. He stops before the picture of his last Duchess while showing his art gallery to his messenger. He does not talk of his dead wife by mere accident, but he does it so by design. His intention is to impress the messenger and his master, the Count, as to the sort of woman he intends to marry. The very first line, "That's my last Duchess," painted on the wall, is dramatic in tone. Thereafter, the poem presents a character study of the Duke. Through his words, we not only get a clear picture of the Duke's temperament, but also we realize the true nature of his last Duchess. Though the Duke intends to criticize her, we get a picture of an innocent and a good-natured lady. She did not have the arrogance of her husband. She was not used to hide her true carefree innocence. She had a smile for everyone and was delighted by life's little things. She was frank and was readily pleased. While presenting his dead wife, the Duke gives expression to his own narrow-mindedness, arrogance, supercilious dignity, cruelty, greed, and pride. He is too jealous of his 900 years old name, which has bred callousness in him. He interprets every act of his wife's innocence and simplicity as an insult to himself. He has an inflated sense of personal property like any of his art pieces. Therefore, he cannot tolerate her smiling at anyone except himself. He considers it to be beneath his dignity to criticize and correct the Duchess' foolish behavior. He wants complete domination over her. Love has no meaning for him. He can appreciate a picture but cannot appreciate a living person. The Duke's patronizing attitude is evident in every line he utters. The lines, will it please you sit and will it please you rise? They are imperious commands wrapped in polite words. He is tyrannical by temperament. I give commands, then all smiles stop together. These two lines are enough to indicate the way in which he dealt with an unpleasant situation. Chilling brutality and tyranny is compressed in just 8 words. His callousness is effectively revealed in the cool dismissal of the memory of his last Duchess. There she stands as if alive. He does not mind stooping to hope for a large dowry from the Count, but he is clever enough to use flattery for his end. Quote, I repeat, the Count, your master's known munificence, is ample warrant that not just pretense of mine for dowry will be disallowed, though his fair daughter's self, as I avowed at starting, is my object. Unquote. The reference to the bronze statue of the Neptune taming a seahorse reveals his dominating temperament, which will tolerate no opposition. True, the Duke has artistic taste, but it is not really to be admired because it is a soulless, inhuman taste. Through his protagonist, Browning epitomizes whole age. The Duke of Ferrara's words reveal not only himself but the very essence of Renaissance Italy. The age marked by intrigue, avarice, shrewd, mercenary instincts, hypocrisy, and a taste for the arts is revealed through the words of Duke. The first thing is to note in the poem is its brevity. It is written in heroic couplets and there are parentheses and brackets, but they do not lead to obscurity. In addition to this, Browning's pictorial quality comes out well in the poem. We can easily behold the half blush that dies along her throat and the spot of joy. Well, to conclude, the poem gives a concentrated picture of a whole lifetime which could easily be expanded into a 3-volume novel. Thank you. If this video finds to be useful to you, please subscribe to my channel and thanks a lot.